Hey family, it's Erin and Simon with Assets and Arbitrage. We are actually on time tonight, so I'm excited about that. We're actually 60 seconds early. I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, Baby Cakes is going to give you guys your reminders.
Yeah, same reminder. Stay stacking, stay stacking, stay stacking. Your ounces, your satoshis. This was a good week to grab some ounces as they dip down. You're gonna see the dance with the dollar as you see the dollar getting stronger over time. If you're keeping your eye on the DXY, or if you just want to keep it,
What's the DXY?
just when you watch the dollar index by itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people like to watch. Most people like to watch DXY, but we show it against a foreign currency so that you can have some kind of see, how it's doing against foreign currencies. We use the Mexican peso.
What does the DXY look like?
Just you type in DXY index.
DXY index. Y'all, I'm learning just like y'all are sometimes. And as soon as I get it, I'm going to show it to you. Market Watch.
Yeah, that's a good one. Market
That's a
watches.
good one.
There you go. It's a
Okay.
DXY.
So what is, okay, hold on. Let the cousins, let me show it just in case they're watching the replay.
I didn't want to go into the DXY.
Well, you mentioned
You
it.
didn't
Why are
say.
you mentioning stuff you don't want to talk about?
No, because most people watch the DXY, and so but you can watch it against other currencies, so you have some kind of point where you understand, like, oh, I see how it is going against like the naira.
Cousins,
Or
I want y'all to in the chat or leave a comment under the video and tell me if you monitor the DXY. I would like to know.
it's
Believe
no
it.
different than you monitoring the dollar to
Bitcoin, yeah.
peso ratio.
I get it, but
Yeah, it's the
I've never
same.
done this. So when it says it closed at 100, what does this mean?
Well, that's the closing.
I understand that, but is that percentage? Like, what is it?
No,
It's up 0.22 or
20, but
21%.
2021. So I can't.
But what is this benchmark? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
This is the
This
market
is just,
watch.
yeah,
I don't know. This is a different chart that I'm used to using. It's very small,
gotcha, babes.
but
It's interesting, though. And then they
yeah,
had another one.
yeah, because that you could just watch that one if you don't feel like. But if you have a rooted interest in another currency, then you go against that other
Yeah, that's
currency.
when we look at the
That's why
other
we look at the.
currency. This look more like the chart we look at for
Yeah,
the
that's way
other
better.
currency. I'm hoping the cousins can see that yet.
Yeah, that chart's way better. That's a
Yeah,
nice
this
chart.
looks like the one that I look at.
Line chart, so.
But this is good, right? I'm gonna start looking at this because look,
Uh-huh.
the dollar doesn't do much movement. It's only up 8.75% in 5 years.
Yeah, that's why people who forex trade, I always laugh. Like, okay, it's very slim margins, very
Yeah.
slim margins, and these are the things you
So I'm
gotta.
glad you showed me this, babe. I'm glad you showed me this. In a week, it's up 1%. In a day, I thought we saw on the other one, it said it was up 21%. It's
No, that's
saying here it's up
impossible.
16%. 0.16, I'm sorry, it was
Yeah, that's
0.21%.
impossible.
0.21% is up 0.16%. So there's a little bit of conflict there in the reporting. But even year to date, it's only up 3.63%. In a year, it's only up 1.5%. So that's interesting. In 60 months, it's only up
That's a big
8.75%.
deal. 60 months have your currency up
8.75.
almost 9%. That's a big deal in your currency.
Can I look at other currencies on this type of chart or no? Like if I wanted to look up the Naira, will it show me this?
Naira, you want to look. Oh, you saying you want to look for different? I don't know. I don't know because I never really. This is U.S. dollar index. I don't know.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I
I
don't know
got
if
it. I
yeah.
got it. I thought it was like the one. So, y'all, this is what we look at. This is why I look at this every day. So, you see, as soon as I type in the letter U, it's going to bring it up. Right? So, we look at this every single day. That's why I said that looked like the chart I'm used to seeing. So, every single day, obviously, except the weekend, because whatever it closed on Friday, that's it. There's no movement until Monday morning. I'll go in here and check to see, is it a good day for me to use cash or is it a good day for us to use the card?
This is true. This is true because today we went out earlier today to get some, I don't know, dinner, lunch, one and all, and we decided to use cash.
Because the peso is weakened against the dollar.
Hmm.
Also, we have like a 10-day grace period to pay the rent or whatever, which I absolutely love because when it's time to pay the rent, I'll check this every single day. Every now and then it'll be like, damn, I should have paid it yesterday, right? Because it went down real bad.
Yeah, so
And my rent's more expensive. And it's crazy how 24 to 36, 24 to 40, 24 to 36 to 48 hours could be substantial in the amount of money we owe in rent.
yeah, that's I mean it can get significant,
Yeah.
but usually it's pretty. What it closes at on Friday kind of
Mm-hmm.
opens on Monday morning,
Yeah.
give or take a little bit.
All right. Well, go ahead, babe. I'm sorry. I mean, I hadn't heard that
Nah, she
before.
confused me because I was just
You
saying
just
if people.
minding your business,
Yeah,
doing your
I
reminders.
said people keep eye on the dollar index, or if they have, like I said, an interest in some other currency, then you go against that currency to see what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You can always use it against precious metals,
Mm-hmm.
silver, gold. So that's just some of the things we were looking at earlier this afternoon before we go into what we were going to go into. Nothing else. Bitcoin doing its dance, right?
Bailamos con
Doing
Bitcoin,
its
right?
dance,
Doing that
doing its
little
dance.
dance. And
So, but we
um,
were used to it, and I seen a couple charts, so it looks like it might be heading into that wedge. So
let me
we
start
gotta see what's popping
backwards.
with that. But
Um,
that's why we stay stacking.
so it continued to go down today. This morning, Bitcoin had hit 70,000. So we were like watching.
Yeah, the fight for 70.
And we were watching. And then it's like, very slim
So
margins
yeah,
though.
so nothing much to talk about in that regard over the
Mm-mm.
weekend. I didn't see much news in the weekend. Did you? We had some pretty good articles that come up as news, but
Yes. So Simon and I, we always want to keep you guys. I'm gonna talk to the cousins here in a second. We always want to keep you guys on top of what's going on in the economy, uh, things that are happening in geographical economies. Because remember, now that we're a digital world, all of the economy is our economy. In some which way, shape, or form, it is going to have some type of effect on what it is that you are going to be doing with your money, or it'll affect your household in some which way, shape, or form.
yes.
So we want to keep you guys updated and all of the things that may be occurring around the world and at home in the US. But first, we want to say hello to the cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, cousins. Hello, Let Freedom Ring.
Say the
BK
rain.
Crypto Boom. Guess who stepped in the room?
I see you there. BK
Uh-huh.
Crypto's in the room.
Cousin H said lights, camera, action. Had me singing, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
Oh,
Now, when I hear lights, camera, action, I want to say glamour, glitter, and gold.
she's gonna go back to
Right?
the
We
Lost
gonna
Boys,
do
right?
no. Like, wasn't it lights, camera, action, glamour, glitter, and gold? That was Nas's verse on
Well, yeah, but the little what's his name?
Freaky, not pretty,
Mr. Cheeks.
Mr. Cheeks.
He
Yeah,
had this song with the lights, camera,
lights,
action.
camera, action.
But yeah, you
Yeah,
said through the lights, camera, action, glamour, glitter, and gold.
that's my verse.
Yeah, yeah. So that's Nas. That's Nas. Yeah, we got that. We got that. Definitely ready for the show tonight. We have found some really interesting articles.
Yes.
Hopefully, they're not. One of them was really intricate. I thought.
No, we won't get too intricate. I think, and when we do it, we just wanted to get the idea.
Yeah, read that. I mean, read that
Do
article
that one
about.
first.
Well, no, don't do that. Yeah, because it's real intricate. So we might as well. Yeah,
Let's do it first.
y'all
And
go
then I
back.
do want to shout out cousin OC Benji. So thank you so
Okay,
much for joining. OC Benji's been on for a
cousin
good little
H. Shout
while.
out cousin
Yeah,
H.
cousin H giving
We
us the
here.
bars.
We here.
Um,
So you guys are familiar. I think we talked about it last show.
wait, baby.
What's happening with the naira against the dollar?
Okay, yes, this one, baby.
And so it is the worst performing of all forex. Forex, right? Is that right?
Yes,
Okay, of
it is
all the
the worst performing currency this
forex
quarter.
currencies, yes, up against being the best
In April?
in April,
That's craziness.
down to the worst. So there's volatility.
I just want to make sure cousins can see it. All right, good. So we found this article, and we're going to talk about a few things today, all based in the economy. Very important for us to kind of keep our eye on. So the naira slipped from the best performing currency to the worst currency in the world in about a 30 to 45-day period.
Yes, with a lot of maneuvering behind the scene. Just for just for everybody, naira is the currency of Nigeria. Just
Oh, yeah, this is true. We
yeah,
don't want to
just
make any
for
assumptions.
just
So,
in
the
case.
Naira has witnessed a change in fortune, emerging as the worst performing currency in the world in April, a new Bloomberg report shows. So, this article, you guys, just in case you missed it when I scrolled, was written in May. It's June now, and it's exactly a month to the day. But we just kind of want to give you an idea on what's going on here because there's a very prominent theme that is the theme of our show today.
Okay.
So Bloomberg said Nigeria's naira trajectory has taken a downward trend as the local currency, which was once hailed as a top performer in March, has begun another round of freefall. The report published on Friday stated that with this slide, the central bank is poised to increase the country's interest rate in its next monetary policy meeting slated for May 21st. The naira on Friday fell to 1 month low of 1,470 naira against the dollar on the parallel market, also known as black market, following dollar shortage and the activities of speculators.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to say that that's what kind of caused some of the free fall, right?
Yeah.
In addition to, and we're going to keep going, traders attributed the decline to an increased demand for dollars used for the purpose of education, health, and tourism. This is the theme we have today, y'all. So we have, as well as other content creators, and I think some of our content cousins have been reporting. We've been talking about BRICS, and how BRICS wants to dump the dollar. And then I want to say about 2 or 3 shows ago, Simon and I came across a very interesting article where 73 central banks are hoarding the dollars for its high yield and value.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're sitting there like, let's look at this side of the coin now, right? Because to me, it's not fear mongering. They're just telling you what they're doing. But I felt like there was a bit of fear mongering in telling Americans your dollar's going to collapse. They're dumping the dollars. Nobody wants the dollar. The dollars are forecasted to come back home to U.S. shores worth way less, ruining the purchasing power even more than it already is at 98%. And here we have another article where there's an increased demand for dollars.
Dollars by speculators on the parallel market, aka the black market. So we have speculators on the black market causing movement. It's interesting.
It's extremely interesting. And they're saying that they're using the dollars for the purpose of education, health, and tourism.
That was they're using it for.
I know that's odd, right? It's like,
okay.
okay. I'm not going to use this money for drugs.
Right. Like,
right. In February ending, the naira plummeted to an all-time low, nearing almost 2,000 naira to a dollar on the street, while it exchanged for 1,600 naira on the dollar in the official window. So there is a lot of black market.
A lot of black market movement over there in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And, that's just part of the game. Nigeria is one of the biggest economies in Western Africa, right? Over there. So a lot of things go through Nigeria, Lagos, if you will. Huge city over there for import, export, right? For banking. So a lot goes on in Nigeria. A lot goes on, a lot of money movement. You see it right here. You see the price moving up and down. So this is why you got to pay attention to the entire world, right? Because some people wouldn't even think twice to pay attention to Nigeria. But Nigeria is a big player. It's a big player, bigger than people think.
And look how relevant it is to us
Yeah.
because of the increased demand in dollars.
Hmm.
So this, you want some? This free fall of
No,
the
thank you.
naira resulted in Olemi Cardoso, the CBN governor, swinging into action by mopping up liquidity and initiating policies to calm the forex market. Now, Simon and I, we did a little bit of research. We're still not quite sure what was meant by mopping up liquidity, but they did go on to explain initiating policies. And again, I talked to you guys about how.
And I felt like, just to explain, I felt like mopping up liquidity was a way of saying that they went in there and they just kind of got rid of the liquidity and the easy trade back and forth is what I'm trying to think that it means, because it's not really the proper word, but mopping up, like
But
cleaning up
think
liquidity.
about, right? So this is written by a reputable market,
Yeah,
this article. We always talk about how precision of language is used
yeah,
in articles, typically for propaganda use,
yeah.
right? And we explain to the cousins that propaganda is a weapon of war. Now, in all of that being said, they've been very specific about everything. And then when we get to right here, notice how vague and ambiguous.
Yeah.
And they go
Mopping up.
into, so they brought up mopping up liquidity first and then initiating policy second, right? So typically, as a writer, and I'm a published author, I've published 4 books, and we're working on our 5th published work. You will go on to explain the first clause and then move on to explain the second one. They never, ever, ever say anything about the mopping up the liquidity, even as a measure of clarification.
Hmm.
So I found that to be odd. And a lot of times it's the thing that isn't said that speaks sometimes even louder than the thing that is said. So between February and March, the CBN hiked the country's interest rate by a combined record of 600 basis points to 24.75%. And I had to ask Simon, so that sounds big. What would our basis point be, just so we can have a comparison?
Yeah, and usually when you see the Fed rate hike, they'll tell you, like if you watch the official thing, they'll tell you in basis points, right?
Mm-hmm.
125 basis points, 225 basis points. Really, 100 basis points equals 1%, but it's their fancy Fed talk that they like to use, basis points. So we
Mm-hmm.
could go there with basis points. But 600 basis points is a lot. It's 6%. It's 6% out of nowhere.
Relatively quickly,
Yeah, out of
right?
nowhere.
So, and that shot it up to 24.75%. And that's high as hell when we're talking about loans and stuff.
Well, yeah. So I mean, they got a problem. I mean, that was usually, if you ever notice when the Fed's going to hike rates and or not, there's kind of like rumblings, grumblings, like it might be one, it might be 125
Mm-hmm.
basis, might 150 basis points. You kind of know. I call this baked in, and then they come out and they say, yeah, it's going to be 125 basis points. And then, you get like these big dips and stuff like that. And stuff
Mm-hmm.
gets back to equilibrium because it was baked in. We
Mm-hmm.
kind of knew, everybody was prepared for it. But this doesn't look like it was baked in.
No, it
Nobody
looked
was
like it
prepared
would have
for
caught people unprepared.
it.
Absolutely.
Blew your socks
And
off.
keep in mind, when something like this occurs in the economy, everybody's just like, I'm not going to apply for, I'm going to wait.
And you got to understand too, I mean, it's not like the United States.
No,
Stuff isn't FDIC insured.
nope,
These banks can get janky on you.
yep,
You trying to go, oh shoot, I want my money out the bank. Bank then locked up. Like, hold on, no transactions
nope.
until we
We keep our deposits. We're
until
not,
until we
yeah.
figure out what's going on. So this is a very dangerous situation going on in Nigeria. But read on, it gets better.
The governor also resumed the sale of $10,000 to Bureau de Change operators. You guys may not be aware of this, but for those who travel a lot, typically when you go to another country that has a different currency, they have these currency exchange places.
Yeah.
If you do travel, even if you're not traveling international, you would see currency exchange pagodas in the airport, right? Where you can go ahead and buy the currency beforehand going to the country of your choice. So that's what those are. They're going to do that every week in February to put some checks on the sale of the greenback on the street.
So they got a lot of problems with the street controlling
The market.
apparently, and and it's outright. They're saying the street. Does
Hmm.
that sound better than
Right, and that's why I said
black market
like
before? It was parallel market to black market
market,
to now it's just
the
streets.
streets.
The streets. Okay, the greenback is in the streets. All right.
And even the phrasing of it, right? You see we were very formal writing, reporting, and then it's like hood
Yeah.
right there. So all of these interventions made the naira see a rebound, strengthened to a high of 1,000 naira to a US dollar, allowing for a convergence between the parallel and the official market. And that's back to, like I said, the formal talk, right? When they call it the
Yeah.
parallel instead of the black market.
Instead of the streets.
The streets. So
The
the chief
streets.
economist for Africa and the Middle East at Standard Chartered, while speaking with Bloomberg, estimates that 1.3 billion in naira futures will mature at the end of this month, potentially dampening market sentiment. So do you want to just kind of like clarify that for them? Just kind of like simplify it a little bit on.
Well, they got it pretty simple there. The
Well, people who
contracts.
aren't familiar with futures and what does it mean when a futures contract matures, like what happens?
Yeah, it's time for you to it's time up
The
almost.
time
But
the
yeah,
time
I'm
is
not.
expiring. There's an
Yeah,
expiration
I'm not.
coming.
I'm not big on futures. I don't know a whole bunch about them. I
Mm-hmm.
know people do trade them. Um, so I don't know how they work. I get the idea that it's almost like an expiration on a
Mm-hmm.
on an option. So if they're going to mature at the same time, that's I
So it
think a
sounds
bad
like that
thing.
because it dampens the
Yeah,
already poor market sentiment.
yeah. So it's no good.
So that's 1.3 billion. That's just kind of like
Mhm.
gone. Okay. So the belief is that this will create more demands for dollars. Very interesting, cousins. Look at this. Ooh, and I even got a different highlighter today. Usually my highlighter is pink. But the belief is that this is going to create more demand for dollars.
So okay, see how this is. Since everything is on the streets, if you were over in Nigeria, say, and you had a pocket full of dollars, I don't know, let's say you was walking around $10,000. That is high demand on the streets of Nigeria.
Where you can add a premium
Yeah, you can start selling your dollars for
for a
real. Like,
premium,
oh,
yes.
somebody say, I'll buy you $5,000 for 6,000.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Right?
Yeah. Now, question is,
Because you have access
they're
to
gonna
dollars.
buy your $5,000 with 6,000 worth of naira. You may not want it. You're like, I'm good on that, player.
You gotta flip it. You gotta turn it around and
You gotta figure out what to do with it. Or you may have to make that number so substantial that you do profit when you bring those naira back to dollars.
yeah, but that's like walking around with you just standing on the corner and say, I got some dollars.
Yeah, yeah,
It's the
yeah.
streets. It's in the
Right?
streets now, y'all. I don't know.
It's like pass me the package. But the package is cash, right?
Yeah.
When the currency appreciated very fast, there had been about a profit taking by offshore investors. This is also interesting, right? When we start reading these articles, and this is how Simon and I read articles, right? We really read in between the lines because we know better. So normally they would tell you where the profit taking happened. This is very vague and ambiguous writing again, right? Just by offshore investors. I am absolutely with a trillion% certainty sure that the United States has something to do with the offshore investors, right? They're not talking about what BRICS is doing, We've talked about, and many of you have also shared the same sentiment, that they don't seem to be concerned with what BRICS is doing. There's no alarm. They don't seem. So we're now starting to kind of suspect that the U.S. is taking a lot of backdoor measures
Yeah, they
in
may have
order to counteract what BRICS is trying to do.
U.S. may have their own plan in
Mm-hmm.
action. So you can't put nothing past the United States. They're not gonna go down easy, right? They're not
Mm-mm.
gonna go down without a fight. So,
And this meant that the dollar naira exchange rate backed up again. This is completely in line with a functioning market. So she's trying to tell Bloomberg that there is no market manipulation happening. This is completely well within the line of a functioning market.
mhm.
We don't believe it, but she wants to be on record saying that there's nothing going on, especially in an article where they have mentioned multiple times about a parallel, and really more than a parallel, because I feel like the street may even be a different market from the black market.
I know.
Right? Like that may be like a sub market of the black market. So she needed to be on record saying, this is completely in line with the organic movement
Mm-hmm.
of the market.
Gotcha. I'm tracking.
All right. So, according to the report, Akbar Mohammed, the chief executive for Forward Marketing Bureau, did change. So, this is the currency exchange rate place, which monitors data in Lagos, attributed this decline to heightened demand from individuals and small businesses, but they didn't finish the sentence for dollars. It's the heightened demand for dollars. And it looks like individuals and small businesses want the dollars. They can probably gain the most profit because they're smaller
Mm-hmm.
versus a larger kind of
Yeah.
operation. Besides Nigeria, Zambia, and Ghana's local currency also made the list of the worst performing currencies last month. Nigeria and Ghana are Africa's largest economies, are
And
they not?
Western Africa.
Western
Yeah,
Africa's
Western
largest
Africa.
economy.
Yeah, because they got Africa divvied up,
Sectioned off. That's
sectioned
true.
up.
That's
So
true,
Southern
baby.
Africa, Eastern.
So they made the list of the worst performing currencies last month.
Yep.
The Zambian kwacha hit a record low of 27.3 per dollar on Friday. Ghana
Okay.
cedi weakened to 13.99 against the dollar on the same day, marking its lowest level since 2022. Both countries are currently undergoing debt restructuring processes. For Ghana and Zambia, the delays with reaching a debt restructuring agreement with private creditors, again, who are these private creditors?
Mm.
Is likely weighing on capital flows. And then my second question would be, why is the debt restructuring agreement being delayed? What are the factors that are causing the delay? How does the private creditors profit in this delay period? Because if it was costing the private creditors some type of money, they wouldn't allow the delay.
Mm-hmm.
Ayadel Salami, Chief Investment Officer for the UK, so we already see Europe involved, based emerging markets investment management, told Bloomberg. Both countries are unlikely to attract fresh capital inflows until the ongoing debt restructuring negotiations have concluded. Salami added that the naira, along with other African currencies, is facing pressure due to the increased domestic demand for dollars. So, 4 times in this short article, they've mentioned a demand for dollars, particularly to cover the cost of importing raw materials and commodities, including oil. So, for the cousins that are new to the show, understand that many of these countries need dollars in order to settle payments.
Yep.
And typically, when you're settling payments, it is for your imports, your commodities, especially oil.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just check in with the cousins to
Yes,
see
indeed.
what you guys have to say. Cousin H said dirty money has always been used for dirty money, right? What else would we use it for? Cousin Courtney's here. Hey.
Hey.
Cousin Courtney, he's actually drinking regular tequila today, right?
Oh yeah.
He seems to be disappointed. But
That's okay.
our tequila needs to be refined just
It'll
a
get
lot
it to
more
Yeah, we'll get it there.
before we have the right, what would you call it? Like the right formula? It's too strong. It's just way too strong.
Yeah, if you got
It's irresponsibly strong.
yeah, if you got a little hair on your chest,
No, no,
I think it's ready to roll out now.
no. I love my hairless chest, and I need them to refine it a little bit more. So I did want to report on that, cousin Courtney. All right, y'all. Moving right along. I'm gonna close
Peace.
it out as we do it so that I don't get
Yeah, so that
confused.
was that was a lot about nothing, but it's a lot going on over there in Western Africa. Keep your eye on it. If you guys remember, we went over an article. It's been some time, but Nigeria was supposed to join. They had applied to join BRICS, and then for some reason they reneged and pulled out, and somebody got their spot. But I can't remember who got their spot instead.
Like Afghanistan or something, I think.
Something weird like that. But yeah,
Afghan.
they didn't really say why. I mean, I didn't really hunt down to see why
Because at
Nigeria
the
pulled
time we
out.
didn't understand the relevancy until we just read that article. So now we're sitting there like,
I said, yeah, because now that would have helped with their oil settlements had they been in BRICS. They could have used, because BRICS is one to use uh, local currencies.
Yep, the basket.
Or a basket. Mm-hmm. And so that would have helped them a lot had they been in BRICS nations. But
so my question is, it's not like it's it's not like it's too late, right? Like, couldn't you reapply or something?
I don't think they want you, because it's that BRICS is actually they're trying to get alignment against the Western world.
So they don't want anybody
They
who's
don't want
riding
people,
the fence.
yeah, they don't want those people, man. They say, get out of here then.
Courtney said, come on with that bottle. Nerd Up Inc., thank you so much for joining. I don't know where the actual bottle is. He's just sipping on it now, babe.
Okay.
I don't even know what it is that you're drinking, babe.
It's a nice bottle.
So our next article.
Oh boy.
Right, we're back on our theme. And it's just giving you some insight on where you are with the dollar, since you guys use the dollar every day. So here it says BRICS is not dumping US dollars, says it's strategic. But they are doing something that we should all be in the know about. So recent data from the US Treasury shows that BRICS members, China, India, and Brazil, they dumped 18.5 billion in treasuries in dollars since last month. If I'm not mistaken, I think this article was also written in May. While China sold 16.4 billion worth of government bonds, India offloaded 1.5 billion worth of US government-backed securities. On the other hand, Brazil trimmed its reserves by 600 million in US Treasury holdings within the last 30 days. Okay, great. Despite the sell-off, Isaac Odenall, the chief investment strategist at Old Mutual Wealth, said BRICS did not coordinately attempt to get rid of the US dollars. Ordinal highlighted that the three BRICS members offloading US dollars shows or highlights the dominance of the US dollar and not vice versa. We were like, interesting. Tell me more. So the move from BRICS to offload US treasuries indicates that the countries were looking to protect their domestic interests. The aim is to stop their local currencies from ending at a new low against a rising dollar. Therefore, the development has little or nothing to do with the idea of de-dollarization, said the analyst. I just read that, so I don't need to read his quote again. The strategists explained that the US dollar is outperforming, so let's highlight that like we like to. And I hope y'all have y'all notebooks and stuff, or you can screenshot or whatever you need to do when we do the show. So this is very interesting, and now my highlight's blue. The strategists explained that the US dollar is outperforming all local currencies, including the Chinese yuan and South African rand. When they talk about the local currencies, they are talking about that basket of currencies that BRICS wants to use instead of settling with the dollar. So,
with the yuan being the major player.
And
Yep.
The US dollar is outperforming that Chinese yuan. We did read a story about that a couple shows ago. So that's something you want to keep in the back of your mind. From a South African point of view, the strong dollar has already put a lot of pressure on the rand and indirectly has put upward pressure on local interest rates. So here we go. Rising US dollar remains worrisome for BRICS. And you see they put the cute little Biggie crown on his head. The US dollar outperformed all five BRICS currencies since last month and came out on top. The rising US dollar is adding pressure on local currencies to perform and is affecting their import export sectors. The cost of imports of various goods turned expensive and, in return, led to price rises in these BRICS countries. Therefore, to contain the rising dollar, India and China initiated various methods to basically keep the rising US dollar in check.
Yes.
It was a check and balance play.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't need to know how they resorted from keeping the yuan from ending on the low against the US dollar. But now that we're getting a bit more information, especially after we had read that article to you guys where the 73 central banks are hoarding the US dollar due to its high yield, now you're kind of sitting back and like, And I know that's not just propaganda because, again, Simon and I have to watch the dollar every day just to determine how we are going to utilize our currency for the day. And the dollar has been absolutely strengthened against the so called super peso.
And you got to remember, if you go back in a little bit, I don't know, you go back 30 years, nobody's really put pressure on the US dollar as the world reserve currency until BRICS. Now you see BRICS had put a little pressure on the dollar. Now the dollar's fighting back. Dollar really never had to fight back like that against somebody putting a play on them
Yeah, because it had always been
for
king.
world reserve currency status, and so the dollar's not going to let up their world reserve currency status go
Easily.
they had since 1944, I believe, since Bretton Woods, and so yeah, they're not going to let that go.
And we thought it was odd, right? It was like, I'm reading all of this stuff about de-dollarization. Brinks is dumping the dollar. And again, we always talk to you about the wording, the way they phrase things, the words that they choose to use, the way they express the different sentiments that are going on. And now we're starting to see the other side of that coin, like, oh, that's interesting. You guys are really just trying to contain the dollar in a sense until you can kind of catch your breath and come up with other measures to, uh, I don't know, to usurp this world reserve
I understand
currency.
and wanting to usurp it for settlements because you're tired of being
The sanction, you're tired of
yeah,
being
held
sanctioned.
hostage by the dollar. But two, man, let's be honest. You can name the BRICS currencies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America,
South Africa.
South Africa. I'm sorry. And so let's name them. What are they? I mean, yuan, is that really the currency that we want
No,
to
it's
switch
doing
to? Or
terrible against the US dollar. They talked about the South African rand is also struggling. I
rand,
don't know how the rupee's doing. So
the
that's
rupee?
India. Who did we miss? Brazil, the real. The real's a hard currency though. So
Yeah,
I don't know how they're
Because
doing.
Brazil's GDP is really high and
Yeah.
their economy.
I'm
And
not sure how the real is doing against the dollar.
I'm not
Did
either.
we name all of them? I
I think
think we
so.
did.
Yeah.
So, um,
So nobody wants any of those either to be the
oh,
world reserve
no.
currency. So that's why they always trying to get these little baskets, and somebody wants it to be, backed by something. If you can get a currency, you're trying to slide in these CBDCs. It's a mess out here. It's
And
just
when we talk about the world reserve currency, Simon has told you guys on multiple occasions, right? In order to even get that going, you have what they call a trifling dilemma. You have to hollow out your industry in order for the rest of the world to have access to the world reserve currency, which would be, whatever the currency selection is. So let's just say China's like, we want our yuan to be the world reserve currency. Everything's made in China.
yeah, you have to hollow that thing out.
How would you how long would it take for them to hollow out that entire economy with all of the manufacturing that comes from there?
Yeah,
Because that's what we did with ours. We shipped it off to China. Everything's made in China, made in China, made in China. So that would be dilemma number one
yeah.
for them. Um, when we talk about India, I don't know how much manufacturing and stuff India has, so maybe it wouldn't be hard for them to do it. But do they have enough currency in
Yeah,
circulation?
that's why they keep talking about a basket of currency so we can mix them all
Because I feel
together.
like they don't have enough currency in
Right.
circulation to.
So we can mix them all together, make them, backed by something like gold.
Mhm.
Maybe not 100% backed, of
Tether it to
course, that
something,
tether
yeah,
it, but
or a resource, some type of natural resource or
yeah,
something.
and that's what they're looking to do. But in the meanwhile, the dollar is,
The dollar
they're looking to stay
is,
on top.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's like, you know,
man, get your dollars, man. Dollars have utility, even though it's we all know in the end it's fiat trash.
yes.
But it has its utility. You can use it, if it's up strong and you can use it and you have the arbitrage against something else,
Hmm.
boom. Go ahead and
Now,
do it.
before when the BRICS news was coming out, we were getting a very myopic view of what was going on with BRICS. It was all about BRICS and what BRICS was doing, and da 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 da. And we
Yes.
kept saying, like, what are the countermeasures? The United States is not reporting, they're not talking, they're not saying anything. But now we're getting a more panoptic understanding on what may actually be happening. And with that being said, right, because we're always talking about war and how strategic they are, because we need to be moving strategically, right?
Hmm.
It's a great way to reinstill the trust that the US dollar needs in order to prop it up. Genius. Absolutely genius. If they are putting out news that 73 central banks are hoarding millions and millions and millions of dollars because they understand it's high yield in the environment of BRICS, who's
Hmm.
like, get rid of that shit, stop using it, get rid of it, right? It's instilling trust in the people like us who stay on top of these things.
Hmm.
And I know our community, we're trying to get them to be more economically focused, more strategic with their
Yeah.
finances and so on and so forth. But other communities stay on top of this shit round the hour,
Hmm.
right? Like this is they've learned to do this and they're on top of this as young adults, as teenagers. So it's very important to be in the know on what's happening in the economy
Hmm.
so that just like we do, you have to be strategic with how am I spending my money? How am I going to be borrowing? Am I going to be using my credit cards? How am I going to leverage my debt?
Yeah.
How much debt am I willing to take on, if any at all? So, okay.
Turbulent times.
So moving right along, we're gonna
Did you
get
check and
back.
see if anybody?
I was just Courtney. I did want to read this to you because I missed it. Cousin H said he's loving the recent silver increase. So thanks
Oh yeah.
to the
Hmm.
Simon Family
Yes,
Investment
indeed. Yeah, that silver
Ventures.
increase is real.
We too are enjoying it. I told you guys the funny story about Sean giving dad his dollars that were sitting on his dresser, just eating away, mom. It's just eating away. And then so I was like, what am I supposed to do with the dollars? You could take the hit, dad. He is also enjoying
Yeah.
the silver increase while his dad is just like,
Well, I got a strong greenback. I could take it to the streets, maybe.
I take it to the streets. He's just
Take
holding it like,
it.
I'm gonna kick you out of this house.
Absolutely.
You take that hit.
To the streets.
So we did want to talk to you guys. I know many of you probably have the question as to we've been doing the Bailamos con Bitcoin dance, right? We're dancing with Bitcoin in these slim margins and with the ETF, like why hasn't it like propelled to the moon like we thought it would almost immediately? And we found an article that we wanted to read to you that I think did a great job in explaining what's going on.
Thanks. So.
For those of you who are trying to learn the market, investments, so on and so forth, Investopedia is a wonderful, wonderful resource. It's great in its clarity of language. It's not very technical where you can't understand what's going on and stuff like that, but it's also really good to stay on top of the news.
Yeah, and they have a free course if you get on there and search around a little bit. It's a free course and it'll start you in order to learning things, and that helps a lot because a lot of times people get into this.
And don't know where to start.
Yeah, they don't know where to start, so they're kind of in the middle with learning certain terms and nomenclature and things like that. But then there's things behind you that you should have
You should have had
started
a
with.
foundational,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
understanding of it.
it'll give you the right pattern to get to where you want to go, and
Hmm.
you'll have, like she said, a good foundation. And yeah, Vestopedia is
So definitely
check
cousins
them
who
out.
got first of all, shout out to the cousins who do have a notebook or are taking some type of notes, right? Definitely give yourself some productivity points for that. Because it's just a lot of information every single day to stay on top of.
Yeah,
So it says the cryptocurrency market news: why Bitcoin remains under 70,000 despite big ETF flows. This was published today, you guys.
yeah.
This is something else that we love with Investopedia. They have key takeaways, so they give you the highlighted bullets of the article, especially when you're trying to learn something.
Hmm.
So Bitcoin prices remained fairly range bound last week, though they fell sharply below the 70,000 mark on Friday after climbing more than 71,000 earlier that week. The second largest daily inflow into spot coin exchange traded funds could not keep the Bitcoin price momentum going as traders engaged in arbitrage to make money off the difference between spot and future prices. And we'll explain that to you in just a bit, cousins. Robinhood grabbed headlines with its acquisition of Bitstamp in a bid to expand its overseas business. And additionally, another publicly traded company has decided to take advantage of Bitcoin as a treasury asset. All of that will get explained in this article. But first, let's talk about the Bitcoin ETFs. So last Tuesday, US spot Bitcoin ETFs saw their second highest daily net inflows, reaching 886.6 million.
Mm.
And this is according to data from Farside Investors. Leading the inflows was Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund, contributing 378.7 million, followed by BlackRock's 274.4 million.
Mm.
So this influx marks 16 consecutive days of net inflows for these ETFs, which has since been extended to 19 days. It was a strong week overall for Bitcoin ETF inflows, as nearly $1.6 billion of flows came into the market from Tuesday to Thursday alone. That's a lot of money for a 2-day window.
Yes, it is.
The cumulative net inflows for the US Bitcoin ETFs have now reached 15.6 billion, with IBIT overtaking Grayscale Bitcoin Trust as the largest player in the market. Despite the strong inflows, Bitcoin's price has only flirted with the new all-time high and not yet hit the 73,000 mark that we enjoyed in March. Traders were bullish on spot Bitcoin ETFs as they began trading it in January, with inflows powering a rally in Bitcoin prices. However, that trend may be changing as traders are now betting on arbitrage. And Simon's going to explain that in just a moment. I'm going to finish this aspect up. Hedge funds and commodity traders are buying spot Bitcoin ETFs while selling CME futures or basis trading, aiming to profit from the futures market premium relative to spot prices. When you had explained to me what they were doing, you used a great illustration of silver
Yes.
in order to help the cousins understand what the traders are now doing as they are, what did they say? They're betting on arbitrage. So, oh, y'all didn't get to see that. I didn't get to share it, but go ahead.
You need to share it.
No, but that's all right. They heard me read it.
Yeah, so basically, you want to say that you're buying a spot, so that means you're buying it at the price that it is, and the arbitrage is trying to go back and use future contracts with just premium. So sometimes, if you do that, you can have an arbitrage right there in regard to selling spot for the premium,
Right. So
right?
the difference.
The difference.
So you bought it at spot price, and like he said, let's say silver's $30 an ounce, and the spot price is, we're just gonna say $10 because it's a round number. I'm sorry, and the premium is
ten
$10. It's a
dollars.
round number.
But it's a future. So remember, it's a future.
Mm-hmm.
It's a future contract. So you could, buy and sell your future contracts up until
They
till
expire.
they mature. Till they mature. Till they
Mature.
mature.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could say, oh, I got the premium here, and it's more than the spot. that you can make money on that, and that's just a small
And that's what they're
arbitrage.
doing.
But they're doing it with so much money.
That was gonna say with such big numbers
Yeah,
that it's not.
yeah, it's not.
Right? Little
Some
Dutchy
people
Dutchy
might be
build big
like, man,
down.
that's a lot of work because you deal with futures contracts and stuff like that, man. It gets to be.
But this is what that's what they do.
It
They
gets to
have
be messy.
AI.
Yeah, but sometimes you need money. You got to stay on top of stuff.
Yeah.
24/7.
Okay, you guys. Let's talk about Robinhood and Bitstamp. So, Robinhood's $200 million acquisition of crypto exchange Bitstamp accelerates its foray into digital assets, especially outside the US. So, this expansion comes roughly 6 months after Robinhood began offering crypto trading to clients in the European Union. So, this is fantastic because it opens a window of some sort of adoption to places that didn't necessarily have access to it before.
Okay. I can see that.
Bitstamp holds 50 active licenses and registrations worldwide, positioning Robinhood to compete directly with industry leaders like Binance and Coinbase. Bitstamp's extensive spot exchange, widely used in Europe and Asia, offers 85 tradable assets, including staking and lending services, and is intended to drive the growth of Robinhood Crypto as its first institutional business. The acquisition of Bitstamp is a major step in growing our crypto business, says Robinhood Crypto General Manager Johan Kerbrat.
Johan, yeah.
Because I almost read it as Joanne. Bitstamp's highly trusted and long-standing global exchange has shown resilience through market cycles. While this deal is set to close in the first half of the next year, Robinhood's crypto business is thriving, driving a roughly a fifth of the company's first quarter net revenue, despite the regulatory challenges in the U.S.
There we go. Now, a lot of people laugh at Robinhood. If you go on CNBC, they make jokes.
But the Robinhood community is hilarious, and you can't say that they're
jokes.
not. We have the
The
Robinhood.
Robinhood traders,
Yeah,
like,
they're
they got
hilarious.
those guys. And so they look down upon you should be trading with Charles Schwab or Merrill Lynch or something like that. No, you got Robinhood. You just trade on the app.
What was the purple and orange one we used to have?
Purple and orange. I had to think about that.
Remember, you used to go down. It was the Asian guy who used to do it for us. We used to go down to Orlando.
Oh, that was
this
Scott.
is before you got
Scott
involved.
Trade.
Scott Trade, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all could imagine Simon got real frustrated with him quick and was like, "Let me learn this."
This is old school stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I know most of it, and you just got to keep an eye on it. But this is back when you had to take a check down to the guy.
Yeah.
And then he deposits your check, and then if you guys have been investing for a while, you know that you had to drive to the actual.
Yeah. We used to drive down to Orlando.
Yeah, we had to drive downtown Orlando, and it's hard to park, and it's hot. He was cool though. He was cool. Then we had meetings with him and stuff like that. And you just got to go down there and try to meet with him, and then you had control on the dashboard of your things.
But it's not like now when you can just do all of that in 86.
Them guys out of business, man.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because he wasn't even allowed to give financial advice, so his hands were tied. He really couldn't do much of anything. Mm-hmm. He can help you if you have some problems with, the user interface or something like that, but you couldn't ask him no questions like, "Hey, you think I should get this? I heard about this and that." It's like, hey, I can't really.
Yeah, I told you, Simon got frustrated quick.
Why are you here?
What are you doing? Yeah. And we drove 45 minutes to get here. And it's not 45 minutes away. So, it's Orlando.
See what they, I wanted to make sure.
Cousin Jake's in the room. Cousin Jake said Bitcoin had went to the moon with ETFs. We would normally be sitting at 30K right now. Bitcoin had went to the moon with ETFs. We would normally be sitting. Are you saying that if Bitcoin hadn't introduced the ETF, we would still be at 30K? Is that what you were trying to say? He said the fun is still yet to come as well.
Oh, yeah.
All right. More great news. Semler Scientific announced last Thursday that it will bolster its existing Bitcoin holdings with a recent $17 million purchase, while also planning to raise $150 million. In May, the healthcare company announced a $40 million Bitcoin acquisition, which subsequently boosted its stock by 25%.
So, pause. You didn't read the title though.
Semler Scientific. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read the
It
title.
follows MicroStrategy's
Bitcoin
Bitcoins.
Playbook.
Yeah,
Let's highlight that.
that's called game theory.
All right.
That's game theory. They follow their playbook, yeah, because they seen it work. And you're gonna see a lot of this game theory happening. This is a
Healthcare company.
healthcare. Okay.
And subsequently, their stock was boosted 25%. The company now possesses 828 bitcoins in total. Semler Scientific, I don't know why I'm struggling with that word, has strategically diversified by incorporating Bitcoin into its corporate strategy. The CEO, Doug Murphy Chatorian stated, Semler remains focused on our dual strategies of expanding our healthcare business and acquiring and holding Bitcoin. Great policy and procedure to have in place. I wish my company would
Well,
do the same.
well, you're seeing a lot of Michael Saylor, right?
Yes,
And then you're seeing President Bukele,
yes.
and they're just showing you how much they have done for their organization and or nation.
Well, understand that President Bukele would technically be the chief executive officer of the country, basically, right? Because he has to execute that office. So it's the same thing, and it was fiduciary responsibility on his behalf to do something as great as he did.
And so people were seeing that it works. And so maybe you got BlackRock, right? And BlackRock's jumping in, ARK Investments.
Mm-hmm.
All these people are jumping in. I mean, even it's still on the balance sheet of Tesla.
Yeah, I'm going to read that here in a
Okay.
minute. Tesla and Block. But also
Block.
keep in mind, just jumping back to El Salvador used to be one of the poorest, most
Yeah.
violent countries on this side of the
Yeah.
world. And now it is one of the wealthiest is getting there,
Well, sure,
right?
it's the
For where
safest.
it is in its surroundings
It's the safest
and the
in the
safest.
Western Hemisphere.
Yeah. But they used to
Uh,
be incredibly poor. Like this is a significant.
mhm. So yeah, people are going to take the playbook. They're going to take out the playbook because it works. It
Yes.
just works. You got to do it. Put it on your Treasury Reserve asset sheet. So you don't have to get rid of all your cash,
No.
right? Just put
Mm-mm.
some on there. You see how he said we're going to continue to grow and build. That's what they want to do.
And keep in mind, right, when you're running a business, for those of the cousins who, don't run businesses and stuff, these larger corporations, when they put Bitcoin on their Treasury Reserve
Balance sheet.
balance sheet,
Hmm.
this is the thing that goes and it's just going to thrive in the Bitcoin,
Hmm.
right? So you don't have, like we talked about, that significant overhead in order to make that profit.
Hmm.
It's not like the business operation arm where there's salaries and benefits and the hardware and the software and all of the resources that are required before you could even churn a profit.
Yeah, from what I understand, and I could be wrong, is that your Treasury Reserve assets is probably mostly kept in cash.
Yes.
So you would just take a portion of your Treasury Reserve in cash and buy Bitcoin
And make money.
and make money. That's how I think it is. I don't want to oversimplify it, but
Right. And the other idea, and I'm going to oversimplify this other idea, is this arm, right, where your Treasury Reserve sits with the Bitcoin, is profiting, growing, thriving, whatever you want to call it,
mhm.
and it serves almost as a great check or balance for your business operating arm, which may be in a bearish quarter or maybe in a bearish year,
Okay.
right? It's all great when everything's bullish, but it helps the corporations when they are having issues on the business operating side.
Yeah, and so I don't know if we have to finish. Do we have to finish the article or
Yeah.
I was just going?
Yeah, real quick. So the recent announcement aligns with the broader trend of publicly traded companies holding significant amounts of Bitcoin, collectively totaling 308,688 Bitcoin, worth around 21.4 billion according to Bitcoin treasuries. MicroStrategy is the most notable example here, holding nearly 15 billion worth of Bitcoin, but others include Tesla and Block.
All right.
So Semler's stock jumped in the immediate aftermath of the announcement and is trading roughly 20% higher compared to the close last Thursday. MicroStrategy stock has more than doubled since the start of the year as its Bitcoin portfolio has benefited from rising Bitcoin prices.
So really, I mean, if we, I don't want to go into all that, but you can go back to the screen so I can see
Yes,
this
babe,
stuff.
because I don't need to read that next article.
Yeah, we don't. I don't want to article them out, so we gotta just chop up some game with them
Mm-hmm.
after a while. And so, like I said, that is game theory, and at a higher level, because they do trade on the New York Stock Exchange. So by them doing that, bolstered their stock also at the same time. So, it's kind of a win-win. You see
Mm-hmm.
MicroStrategy stock has doubled just this year in 6 months just because of its Bitcoin holdings.
Yes.
And so that's the thing. These companies, they're gonna have to get down with it sooner or later. You're gonna have to figure out a way to integrate Bitcoin into your company. Now, we're not saying you got to make it your treasury reserve asset, but you're gonna have to start figuring out and weaving it in there. It's like the internet back in the 1990, 96
Mm-hmm.
era, 97. People didn't understand. You needed a website for your business. We're talking about banking. Look how long it took people to get on to just online
On
banking.
banking.
Like cats are still, I mean, it's been a while, but them days you go
And
to the
it's still
store.
widely archaic. You would think like Chase and Wells Fargo would have these great online portals. They're terrible.
But you got to have them, and they came around a little bit late. Um, but it's gonna you're gonna have to figure out a way to integrate Bitcoin into your business, one way or the other. Whether it's simple as taking payments in Bitcoin, you can start there, right? That'd be the easiest place to start, right?
Mm-hmm.
We take payments in Bitcoin. You go over there on AppMex, see if they don't take payments in
You know
Bitcoin.
that they do.
You know they do, right? So I really that's not really my trade off there, but yeah, everybody's gonna have a little. We take payments in Bitcoin. That should be the starting point. And then if you can integrate it in, if you have some kind of business solutions, whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I could name a whole bunch of businesses. That was healthcare, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
they, and
sir.
they integrated it. Healthcare. What's healthcare got to do with Bitcoin? Hmm.
Money.
There we go.
Let Freedom Ring said he's thinking about buying some SMLR, so Semler Scientific. I'm
Oh, it's
sorry,
okay.
Semler Scientific. I was struggling with that word all day today.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
freedom ring. I agree with Gordon. Other companies will follow MicroStrategy. Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah. They
I
go.
mean, you would have to. You would. I'm not saying it's free money, but it's a great way to make profits. Why would you like? Especially in this economy that is developing, that you're starting to see people getting tighter and tighter and tighter with their dollar. You're seeing more layoffs, you're seeing hiring freezes, you're just seeing a lot more of a sign of an economic
And
winter to come.
and this stuff is not as easy as we say it is. You're talking about big companies
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because it
It's easier
depends.
said than done.
It just depends. You got a board. The person may not own, the majority shares, and you
Hmm.
got to get it through a
The
vote.
processes, the legal, all of this stuff, all of the hoops you have to jump through in
And you
order to
wonder, like,
execute
why is it taking so and so so long, and so and
because
so
of
so long,
that.
because of stuff like that. And so, when you have things, when everybody's in alignment, like, yeah, we're gonna go do that, then you can get people who got on it real quick. I say relatively quick, like BlackRock,
Yep.
being the biggest
But they're so
hedge
big,
fund hedge
yeah.
fund manager, and everybody just got on board and said, yeah, we
But
doing
it's
that.
their company mission, objective, and vision to compound money. When you're looking at healthcare and these other places that have very different missions and visions, that's when you start to see the apprehension in
Yep. You absolutely
Right?
do.
BlackRock, that their whole thing is we gonna make money by any
And
way
then you know,
possible.
there's too many people. BlackRock is high end. Too many people are asking about Bitcoin. How can
Yeah,
I get exposure to
yeah.
Bitcoin? I want some Bitcoin.
So that makes sense.
So they had to go do it. And the other companies will follow suit. Hedge
Yes.
fund company Fidelity. I think Ark Investments came right after BlackRock. Maybe
Hmm.
right at the same time or
And I
something.
do have one more short article for you
Oh
guys.
no,
I
what that
think
one?
cousin Jake gonna be tickle pink by it. This is the Kathy Wood one. We
Oh
gotta
boy.
do it.
All
We
right.
gotta do it. Let me just make sure that this is it.
Kids had the door open, man. There's flies in here, y'all. So
Driving us crazy. Y'all ain't
work.
gonna be in and out of this house all day. You know, I'm
Yeah,
sounding like my mother now.
work with us, man. They on top of us.
Hey,
I said,
in
dang,
and out the
man.
damn house. Y'all letting all the damn air out. It's like,
It's a
oh
nice day,
Lord.
you know. It's a nice, breezy, sunny day.
Make sure cousins can see. All right, y'all. Here the money shot.
Please, please.
Here's
It's
how
a
much.
family show.
It's a family show. Here's how much. Well, that's not what it meant before. The porn industry hijacked the phrase. Here's how much just $100 in Bitcoin will be worth if Kathy Wood's Bitcoin prediction is correct. This was written on June 4th. We know about ARK Investments, has rapidly become one of the largest asset management firms globally. It's led by Kathy Wood. The company offers a variety of investment product services, focusing heavily on innovation and technology. That is their mission, that's their vision, right? So to be
Yeah.
involved in Bitcoin, it's in alignment with what they do. It would be hard for the board to be like, no, the apprehension doesn't make any sense. In early 2024, the firm partnered with 21 Shares to launch Spot Bitcoin ETF. The ETF and several others have been largely successful, attracting over 3.2 billion. Following the ETF's launch, Kathy Wood has received significant attention for her predictions about future Bitcoin prices. I want to get to the prediction. So the new prediction is higher than the start of the year in January 2024, which stated that Bitcoin could hit 1.5 million by 2030. The probability of the bull case has increased with this SEC approval.
Hmm.
This is a green light. Before approving the spot ETFs, Wood predicted that Bitcoin could reach $1 million by 2030. Her investment thesis relies on significant levels of institutional adoption. So that's why I made sure that we did that last article before this one.
Yeah, she needs a lot.
There's a theme, right? While it's plausible that if institutional investors allocate 5% of their portfolios to Bitcoin, the price could reach 3.8 million, it is unlikely to happen by 2030. Although institutional adoption has increased significantly in 2024, unprecedented changes in the institutional landscape would be required for this to occur. So here's the highlight, and it's purple on this page. The prediction for 2030 also factors in the next Bitcoin halving, expected to occur in 2028. Historically, Bitcoin halvings precede higher highs followed by higher lows. If this pattern continues to 2030, the price could peak around 2029 or 2030, potentially aligning with Wood's price prediction. If Wood is correct and Bitcoin reaches $3.8 million, a $100 investment in Bitcoin today, June 10th, 2024, and actually this article is written on the 4th,
Okay.
would be worth $5,510 in 2030. And this translates to a compounded annual growth rate of over 95%. Cousins. If you just gave just that little paragraph to somebody who needed to be persuaded to put their money in something, obviously low time preference, right? You took $100 and made 5,000. If you just $100, and imagine if you were dollar cost averaging every single day, every single day, every single
Well,
day.
dang, that's tough on people. But
No, not $100 every day.
okay.
But even if it was just $100 a month, you can dollar
Yeah.
cost average more than $100 a month for a lot of people. Again, it's not that you can't do it, you don't want to do it,
Mhm.
right? Because again, there's a choice and a trade off. And what's more important? Cheesecake Factory, or maybe, adding to your Bitcoin purse,
Right. Depends on who
right?
you ask.
Michael Kors bag, or adding to your Bitcoin $3,000 installation, or can we take the $3,000 and add it to our Bitcoin purse? So it's not that people really can't afford it. They keep saying now, oh, it's too expensive. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. Yes, you can. You don't want to. And once you start breaking down how easy it is to do it, you can start to see that, yes, you can. You don't want to. We're
Yeah.
all on Facebook. Yes, you can. You don't want to.
Just set it up. It'll come out your account. You don't have to think twice about it. Just make sure you got the $10 in your account
Oh boy.
for it to
Um,
clear.
So, Cousin Jay said U.S. and Middle East ended a 50-year agreement to sell oil in the dollar. Sounds about right. And he said, I'm all in, so I know my chip's gonna be straight. Sorry, we get these little wind gusts.
Yeah, that was a big one there. I don't know about
But
that.
look,
Yeah,
look,
little.
look, it pushed the couch all the way across the room. That's how strong the wind was.
Hey, yeah, man, it's funny. It's funny because I've seen it. A lot of people come to Bitcoin to make money, like we all did. It's like, oh man, we can make some money, and we could flip something, get this bag, as everybody say. But then you actually see that it becomes a community, and it's more than just making a little return on your coin and whatnot. That is a big deal, but it's community. It's people we could talk to, like you guys sit here and talk on a Monday night when nothing's going on. You know how it is. For my for my football fans out there, we call it the dog days of summer. We just wait for September. We wait for September for that kickoff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you watch football, we wait for that kickoff. But we we came to make money and realized it is the money. There you go. It is the money, and it's cool, man. And what I just like about it is just how free it is for people who want to travel. My traveling days are probably over
No,
for the
don't
most
speak those
part.
words. I cancel that at a
No,
university.
I'm just saying in regards to how I used to like to travel and do different stuff and take more risk and stuff. I'm like, man, I don't want to take a risk. I want to make sure we got nice bedding, nice linen. I'm gonna stay in the room. I'm not gonna be out here walking
Y'all
around.
notice he wants a nice bedding.
I gotta lay down, man. Sometimes my knees hurt, so I got to be. I want a nice chair in there and just relax and enjoy, the beauty. But just like pounding the pavement like I used to, and really getting in and out. Them days has passed me, but hopefully someone other people can carry on, right?
Hmm.
Because I when we go to what you call it, El Zante in El Salvador, so we're gonna try to make El Salvador, not try, make our second home,
Hmm.
maybe if not our first home, who knows? And be at the beach, be at the beach, just
Hmm.
talking to people who come through the beach with my feet up in the sand. I'm not gonna be out here just walking the streets, crazy sidewalks. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. You get to these foreign countries, man. You get out here, they got crazy sidewalks, man.
That's
There's
why
a
they think America is paved with like in gold, because
hey,
our
man.
streets, our neighborhoods in America are beautifully developed, right?
Yeah,
You live in a cul-de-sac or in a horseshoe, and you got the sidewalks, and there's flowers and tree-lined streets. And child, no, there's no
nah, man.
sidewalks. It's dust. It's dirt.
You
It's
see people
like,
out there, man, and they got a walking stick. You ever see that when
yeah,
they
for the
going
feral
around?
dogs, it's a
Yeah, but
mess.
it's like, man, you gotta move around out there. Make sure you wear the right type of shoes when you going out here. Like some,
Hmm. Like I used to wear, and when we lived in the U.S., I was a high heel junkie, right? I had a whole bunch of heels. I used to wear 3.5 inch heels to the mall, to the supermarket, everywhere. And my heels probably have 10 layers of dust on them, because this just isn't the environment to do that stuff. Now, when I go to Mexico City, I can break out the heels and be cute for hubby cakes, but
mhm. And
here,
may and, I'm not trying to say that I'm being lazy or whatnot, but we have done a lot of traveling in the last probably So
Maybe
12
15
years,
years.
15, yeah. And when you finally find a little spot that you find is comfortable and it works for your family, you're like, whew, okay, found a spot. You know, you're
Yes.
not out here constantly on the move and
Yeah, I
whatnot.
love this house so
So,
much. And he tells me, oh, he said, this is your house.
yeah,
We had like
so,
no use for it. It's your house.
so we don't,
So keep saying that.
you know, we may travel, like we may go somewhere for a month, see how it is, check it out. A month's a long time, actually,
Yeah, it
because we've
is.
been traveling a lot. I mean, you go
You want to go
somewhere,
back home to
yeah,
your
you be ready to go
bed,
back
to
home.
your papa chair,
And
right? Your
so
couch.
2 weeks is a good enough time to
Hmm.
really get it
Yeah.
in. Even if you want to go, you know, a month, if you're going to go somewhere very far, you might want to take that time, like Asia and all that, because
It's so far.
it's so far.
And the travel is so cumbersome.
And from what I read, just getting back on time, you know, you get thrown off. It takes you a week or 2 weeks to get back
To
on with time.
adjust.
And so, you know, take a month and go out there and just see how you like it. See how you like it, especially everybody who got these work from home jobs, man. Take that advantage. Like, man, I'm going over here, and I
Hmm.
might not even be off from work, but I'm going to be working from over here,
Yeah.
right? And then when my day's over, whatever, 3, 4 o'clock, bam, shut the computer, and then you can
You
go
have the rest of the day to
you can venture
yourself.
out, man, see what's going on, talk to people,
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And if you go,
You don't even need to take now. Many of the work from home, the wind is too strong, baby.
oh, okay,
I can't push the door to even
more flies,
buckle it and shut it. No, it's too much wind for the flies to be
let
coming
me
here.
go to sleep.
But they typically have unlimited time off, so you can enjoy it if you are a digital nomad. But
And they got all these places they want you to come. Like you go over, especially Asia, Southeast Asia.
mhm.
They got all kind of places. Kuala Lumpur. They set up these. What do you call them? You have a name for them. Where you go to work at, you have a name.
Oh,
Like
workspaces.
workspaces. There we go. I guess I could have came up with
Workspaces
that. So they got
or
workspaces,
cooperative workspaces.
cooperative workspaces. That's the word. And they have you come in. They got these spaces. I was looking at this space somewhere over here in the beach, somewhere in Southeast Asia, and it was like a space where it was how would you say?
They have fortified Wi-Fi. I'm sure
Oh yeah,
that
but
would
it
be the
was
point of that space.
yeah, but there was a space where it was like quiet,
Yeah, quiet space.
and then there was a space like upstairs
You can
where
have your meetings
meetings
and
and
stuff like all of
calls.
the workspaces are set up like that.
Yeah, and it was dope. And then when you was finished, you was on the beach, like
Hmm.
right there by the it's like,
Yeah, that's nice.
and so and it's really I guess it's geared towards single people because
Yeah.
that would be kind of a single lifestyle of living, just
Yes.
going to do that. But
Hmm.
also maybe empty nesters. Oh my goodness, and people still might work
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
okay, I
Empty
just come here and
nesters.
do this, and yeah, man, get out there and travel, man. Do it for me. Do it for
Maybe
me. Yeah.
retirees who are working on their own business at that
Mhm.
chapter of their life and stuff like that. But typically, those things are not children friendly. Um, I like to do the more family oriented stuff, and y'all would be shocked in the world with eight 8 billion people.
Getting there.
It's like there's not a lot of family centric stuff set up. It's almost like stuff is set up entirely for single people. And I just thought it was weird. Like, it's all these people on the planet that had to come from somewhere.
Yeah. So
So they don't have a lot. Even when we talk about people moving abroad and you start looking at setups, they're not they're not great for a mom, a dad, and one child. I always tell people, like, if you just have one child and you want to like move abroad, it's one thing to travel because they go back home to their friends, but to move abroad, it's a lot that goes into
yeah,
that. The kids, they're their own tribe, they're their own best friends.
yeah, they
We
play
have
with
a
each
buddy
other.
system. They've had that buddy system since we spit them out the womb. So the people that they meet here is like whatever, because I got my brother. So, and that's even Tino. Tino will play, 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 and then he'd be like, I want to go home to Sean. So it's like, oh, okay, well, let's go. So, those are some of the things you do want to take into consideration in travel because it's not like the US where you can set up play dates and stuff like that. Different cultures, especially with black people. I can't name a place in the world where if you're black, right, it doesn't come with a set of issues.
It does.
I think Europeans, they go anywhere in the world and everybody thinks they're fantastic. But like here, you have the people who are absolutely welcoming, but understanding that they're treating you like the Queen of England because they're expecting you to pay a price that the Queen of England would pay. Right? It's not even like out of the warmth of their heart because if I was a poor Nicaraguan here, they would treat me like shit.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of understanding some of those underlying things in travel. But we are definitely not going to keep y'all today. I think Simon and I, we ended up accidentally getting up at 1 and we've been up since instead of just getting up at 3:30 like we usually do. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sun's still out. I'm ready to go to bed. I done cooked and everything, y'all. I put that food away. I told the boys when y'all come home from practice, go and dish out your food, clean my kitchen up, and I may already be down for the evening. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to do something to stay up till maybe. Oh God, it's only 6. I'm gonna try to stay up till about 8:30, but
Anybody got anything in the chat they want to?
no.
No.
Bitcoin's a Bitcoin. Cousin Jake said everything paid for, no bills is real freedom. It is.
It is.
It is. We have bills, but we don't have any debt. And that is why we have our youthful
Yeah.
parents.
No
We don't
debt,
be stressed
man.
out by money at all. And I thank God for that. We be stressed about stuff, but not that. That's a whole different, that's a stress that weighs on people's heart.
Yeah, yeah. If you could get away from it, but man, it's a fight.
Yeah, yeah. So
It is a fight.
I do thank the Holy One for that. I don't have any debt. I don't owe nobody nothing. Let Freedom Ring said, y'all look great. We love you guys, cousins. There's only been 24 cousins in the room. I think even at the height, it was 24 cousins. I know sometimes economics can be kind of boring, but we think that it's crucial that you guys know what's going on with the dollar. Now we have a more panoptic understanding on what's probably actually happening and what BRICS is attempting to do. And we're noticing that it buys us a little bit of time
Mm-hmm.
as far as the prop up of the US dollar in order for you guys to invest in the things you need to invest in. So to
Yeah,
me,
and
great news.
she has a great rant coming for you on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll keep the people involved. It's a nice rant.
That room will be full then when I go on my rant
Yeah.
because it's a lot of really shitty rhetoric on the internet that it needs to be addressed. I don't know who's addressing it. I'm going to address some of it. And it don't have shit to do with Bitcoin, but it's something that women and men need to know. And I think we've lost
Thank
some of
you.
that understanding along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So we love you guys so
Thank you for
much.
joining us. We'll be here Wednesday with a
Mhm.
great rant. I'll just step to the side, and then
I must have ranted the whole weekend about like 5 points that people are missing. But anyway, y'all, love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. We will see you Wednesday at 7 p.m. We was on time today. Hey, I'm gonna try to keep that up,
okay.
and we'll see you Wednesday.